Outer Orange.
Привет всем! Now, what if we decided to have a best of 3 with a random blue-purple Kaido deck against someone who has no idea how to play into it, by the way, but is playing Law, who's also kind of new at the game. But yeah, so yeah, you see what I mean? You see what you're picking up what I'm throwing? You're picking up what I'm throwing. We're gonna have some sim fun today. I'm gonna be doing some commentary. Let's go check out these games. It's a best of we do a best of 3 is a random, by the way, but some really fun games. And yeah, just a disclaimer, I am gonna make some misplays because I'm pretty new at this game, so there's a lot I don't know, and we're just gonna learn together just how good and a bad player I am at the same time. So let's go do it. Hopefully my commentary will be pretty good. I will have to say, like, this is a pretty complicated game to commentate for, but I'm sure we'll work it out. So here I am playing Law. I have a pretty good starting hand, so I do not mulligan this hand at all. I decided to keep it, and they forced me to go first. Usually Law wants to go second, so here I just kind of throw down a blocker and just basically call it a day because I have really nothing else to do. It's their turn. They call it a searcher here with their Kaido effect, and then now it's back to me. I swing with Law first, just kind of get some counter out, and then I choose to do a little bit of searching here. I whiff actually on this search, which is very sad, but it's okay. I call out another blocker and basically pass it back to him. He plays down this new order that basically lets you get extra dawns, so he has extra mana to work with. I choose to take the first attack here, then I choose to swing first, do some more thinking here, let them decide if they want to. They do decide to counter with a blocker here. I get the Dawn. I do finally hit a search, so we do get a Nami out, which would be a good time thinking. I'm thinking probably which way I want to go about it. If I want to call the Nami, if I want shambles here. I do call the Nami, pick up the Zoro, and then here I go into shambles. I'm thinking about how to set up here because I only have 1 green card here, which is kind of weird. My setup for Law is not very good, so I'm thinking instead I'm actually just going to swing and pass it back along to Kaido. Kaido does some stuff here. He has a lot of Dawn. I have a lot less Dawn than him. There's this one kind of when all the thinking starts happening of sort of how to approach this. I guess he just decides maybe start swinging. I do have some blockers on the board, so my board's pretty set up, but then he throws down this 7K, which basically just randomly just gets rid of some cards. It's a pretty big body to deal with. It's a magic number on top of that, so it's not very good. He goes after my Dawn here, which is pretty good, but I actually choose to keep it safe because I actually don't want to take too much damage here, and then I choose to block, and then it's back to me. I do have my Zoros, which is actually really good here, but honestly my hand is not the greatest. I think I choose to go to just swing and maybe use Bonnie to set up. Here's the Bonnie. I do pick up the Law here, which Law is actually really good here, so now I can call out the Zoro and kind of just try to go. It's a little greedy because in case he has a way to rest something or get rid of something, I can't shambles here because I need 2 Dawn for that. But I choose to swing in, and then I actually swinging again, this time into one of his bodies, and then here I go into the shambles place. I'm thinking about what to pick up here, if I want to go aggro or kind of stay more safe. So I choose to pick up the Zoro, go into Law, use Law's ability to bounce and recall back out the Zoro and swing again. So it just kind of applies much pressure as possible. But keep in mind, this is game 1. I have no idea how to play into this deck, so I'm kind of just going with the whim, I guess is the best way to put it. So our Kaido player is thinking again. Obviously, I don't know what their deck does. I'm assuming he's just setting up for a board here, or trying just to figure out what to play. I know for one thing I know about this deck is that they like to play big bodies, and that's usually what they try to go for. Here's another big body. This is the Magellan. This one is pretty annoying. He forces me to return Dawn, so I had to return 1 Dawn here. The other ability is like when this is KO'd, he gets to like return more Dawn. So basically, you don't really want to touch that card at all. You don't want to swing into it. You don't want to do much of it. You just want to like ignore that card. But the downside is it gets really big, so it's not really a card you want to ignore. So here he starts applying pressure that with these big attacks, trying to get rid of my Zoro, of course, because not knowing that I have a second copy. But the Zoro is actually very, like, for him, it's not he doesn't want to see that card. Also, the Dawn makes really nice perfect numbers, so it's another card to swing into here. He does have 2 open Dawns, so I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more that he has. I choose to block it actually using my blocker Law, and then I reset up here. I still don't have like the most amazing hand to work with here, at least from my perspective. It seemed a little rough here, but regardless, I choose to kind of go in and just apply as much pressure as possible. With the 2 Dawn open, I should have been like a little bit more cautious of, because he can do stuff with it, which I think is going to here. Actually see like if he's going to play he basically has an event in hand. I'm almost positive he has an event in hand. He's going to try and play it at some given point, and actually I don't know the purple's very well here, so I don't even know what he could play that would like be deferential to me, but we'll see here sort of what happens. So here he is playing the order, sending back some Dawns. So what he does here is he actually minuses my leader and my Zoro here, which kind of sucks because now I have to basically use extra Dawn just to barely hit over, which is what I do here. My leader is -3, so now I upped it back to 3, and here I go in, and then here we have I'm gonna set up the Bonnie here. So I'm gonna call her out just to have the 5 condition for the shambles here. I really just care about the shambles. I'm just trying to, I'm thinking through what I want to do, but I just want a shambles here. I want to bring back the Zoro to hand just so I get the extra power back, but instead I just call another Zoro and just swing. He has 1 card in hand and now down to 1 life. Next, if I have 3 life open, by the way, so I'm not really in lethal range here. So he could, theoretically speaking, my hand isn't the greatest, but I can kill. And he hasn't had blockers for a while, so I'm actually in a pretty good spot. He's playing the Daffy Flamingo blocker. That blocker is actually really good. You get to stack your deck a certain way, get to look through your deck, quite a bit of your deck to kind of stack and prepare, so it's a really good card. But right now we're pretty okay. We have 3 life to work with. We have a blocker on the board. Like, the only thing that sucks here is he's going to try to swing into all our inactive bodies, which isn't good for us because we need those cards for next turn. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh my god, like, yes, I have to take like 3 life here. I'm not dying anytime soon, but I'm also not in the best position here. I can't really guard these attacks. I actually have to let them go, which is what we're seeing happening here. I'm letting them go because I actually just don't have a choice. He's obviously going to keep swinging into all my rested people, and that's definitely what he should be doing. He's applying as much pressure as possible here. You'll notice he still has 2 Dawn up here, and I don't have my 5 condition anymore, and I can get to it. Little as you know, I have a bunch of one cost in my hand, so I'm just going through the cycle here. But I think I actually am deciding if I want to apply pressure or not, and I think that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I'm thinking like, what do I do? Do I want to deploy stuff? Do I want to try and aggro with my blocker? Like, I do have the restand guy in my hand here, so I can salute the blocker and then restand him. He does have the 2 open, so I know for a fact something's going to happen, so I just decided to go for it, you know, force the block. He's gonna have to use a bit of guard here just to block through, which he does use it, but now he minus my leader again, which is very annoying, by the way, but I knew it was gonna happen. I already witnessed it. So here I go, basically getting ready for shambles. I use Bonnie's ability to grab a Luffy. This is a very, very big play here. This Luffy literally is a saving grace. And then shambles. I actually decided to shambles into another blocker just in case, just for some safety, pick up some units and pass it back over to him. I do still have 3 life to work with here, so it's gonna take a bit to kill. So here I take some damage. Or I block a little bit, but I block a little bit because I just don't know what I'm about to get hit with. He has 10 open Dawn, anything's possible here, right? And then here it comes, this guy. This guy just board wipes. I think I just stood here for a while, just confused at what in the world that card is. It's just Kaido. It just board wipes the board except himself. And then I look at his life, and then I look at the Luffy in my hand, and I realize, like, wait, I have game. So he has no blockers. He has 1 card in hand. He has his life. So I just go in. I apply the 7. He needs to at least guard with a 3K for this. There's no way he has it. I have the Luffy in hand. I just need to call it out and swing. A Luffy can attack the same turn. It goes in. So I just go in here. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna put the 7 down, put the Luffy down, apply his hope that he doesn't have like exactly enough to block this, and that he just concedes, and then we do a rematch here. The blood for blood. He didn't even let me finish it. I didn't get a chance to attack, but it's okay. So he did. I go this time. I choose to go second. My hand is okay. I think I choose to mulligan it, and my hand went from like okay to worse. This was not the most ideal hand. My last hand was a lot better. I choose to play Sanji because it's like the only thing I had to play. So he swings in. I take it, hoping to find better cards. I don't find better cards, but I can at least work with the Brook here, so which is probably what I'm thinking about doing here. If I want to go Brook into Brook, it's really useful here since it's a 4 cost. I can just get 2 bodies on the board. They're pretty high. It's hard to get rid of. That's what I do. And then having the 7K pressure with the leader is really good here, as he kind of has to take it. I don't think he wants to drop like that many cards that early. Now it's his go. He has a lot of Dawn to work with. I kind of gave him a lot of Dawn here. I think I did not play into his deck very well. I think this matchup was very winnable in my half, and I just kind of I feel like I was blundering this one. But I have the 5 open Dawn here. I'm thinking through like, what would be a good approach here? I start off with the Brooks, just kind of swinging in here. No open Dawn, you know, he has to like deal with it. I think I can shambles here if I try really hard. So I'm thinking like maybe I could shambles here, do some stuff. And then here I am thinking about what to set up. So I choose to attack first. which I probably should have done before, called the Nami, but it's okay. There's not too many triggers that purple does that's like super scary. But so here I just set up for a shambles. So I pick up the green and go into Luffy actually, and this might have been a misplay to be honest. I think I should have just not done that and maybe picked up the Brooks and just gone into like the blocker, another blocker instead. But I guess I just thought that it'd be better to apply pressure. I didn't really like all the big bodies that he gets. I can't really get rid of them. So my thought process was like, if I just get rid of the big bodies, I'll be okay. But I think giving up the Luffy might have actually cost me the game, because last game I won with the Luffy, and then giving up this early without having any searchers being seen so far was probably not the most ideal approach. I think here's just thinking through like sort of what he wants to do. He calls that a blocker. I hate Queen. That blocker is so annoying. It's a 6K. Very annoying blocker. I can't speak because I also have a 6K blocker. So here he plays some events. Not too sure what they all do, but I guess he just discards. So of course he goes after the Luffy, which in a way I think I remember now. I wanted him to go after the Luffy just so he would just constantly keep applying pressure towards that versus me. And I don't know why my thought was that, but I guess I just was trying to conserve life as much as possible for the big bodies coming in. I minus the Queen here with the Otama just to deal with that blocker a little bit better. And then I just get a setup going here. I guess my thought was like, I want to attack a little bit, so I'm gonna attack. He uses the blocker here, of course, to just get rid of that. I'm obviously not gonna swing into the Magellan because the Magellan will force out a KO or a Dawn KO, and I don't want that. So instead I just set up for shambles here, deciding to just basically go in with shambles. Picking up red, going to green probably was my guess here. I did want some shield, so that's kind of what I was trying to go for. So I basically just, I had a weird situation here where no matter what I pick up, it wasn't a good thing to call out since I didn't have any searchers, but instead I just go for 7K here, trying to get rid of as many cards from hand as possible. And he does guard it. I could have used Saji's ability and actually swung for like one more time, but I actually chose to not do that. And I don't know if that was a good idea or not. So I take the damage again. No searchers, like no Kurois here, no Namis. This is the other Nami. This is here comes again the board wipe brutal guy, which in this situation was a lot worse for me than the previous one. If I had had a Luffy here, it would have been a little bit safer, but he still had 2 life to work with, but he lowered his Dawn quite a bit. So here what happened was I had not much to work with, so I think I just kind of I was thinking through like what to do. I guess like my hand isn't looking too well. I haven't seen Namis for a while. I guess the ideal goal is to just try and swing big and hope that he just can't guard it, but he actually does guard it. And then I call out the Brook, call out the Nami, set up another killer, dawn it, and then I have a pretty decent and okay board. Nothing too crazy. You know, it's salvageable. The killer will get me to draw, but the issue is my hand isn't looking too hot, so I'm just kind of like, all right, I guess we'll just roll with this. I was hoping that he doesn't get another big body on the board because I can't deal with those 12Ks for very long. I use killer here obviously to get the draw. Okay, I'm not guarding that, of course. And then I think I just eat everything that he throws at me here because I just don't have a choice. Now it's my go. I did get the Luffy, but the issue is I don't really have a good way to set up for shambles. I'm not in the most good position. He has the blocker out. He has 2 damage to work with, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can try to like just apply pressure here because I really have nothing else to do here, right? Like the only thing I can do is Bonnie and hope that I find some stuff. I am searching a little bit. I found a blocker, which is actually really good, so I do have some setup for shambles here. I can kind of I can play shambles. I get some little bit of aggression here going. Nothing too crazy. He does guard it actually, and then he just takes it. I don't think he meant to do that. Deploy the blocker here, which was useful, and then I think I'm gonna go shambles here. And I think actually what I try to do is I think I try to go for the restand play. I do go for the restand play, which I probably wasn't the smartest move because what happened here is the Queen blocker is a 6K and my bodies are all 5Ks, and I already used up the Nami Dawn, so I was kind of actually stuck here where I had 2 attacks that are basically swinging under. Of course, I still swung. He's going to use the blocker here, and then I swing again, and he just guards it. And now I'm down to 1 life. I have 1 blocker on the board, and this is very scary because, yeah, he whips out the other Kaido, which also retires. So I lost my blocker, and this is basically game. There's nothing here I can do. I have no defense. I'm basically just dead. He has huge bodies on the board. That 10K also rushes, so that was the end to get that. Now we're going to game 3. I get to choose this time, and I'm going second. I was like, no way, this is my game. I didn't even mulligan. I kept my hand. I was like, you know what, this hand's fine. I'll just work with that. I got my Dawn. I didn't see a single searcher last game. I'll roll with the Dawn. We pick up the Nami, just instantly having building a really good setup here, really good start. He swings in, I just take it. And we get the Otama. Yeah, we have another Nami, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's all my searchers, let's go. So I swing first, of course. And then here, I think the thought process was just build a board as fast as possible, just apply as much pressure and find anything I need. And here we are, just searching and searching and searching, just picking up all these wonderful shield targets, some pieces. I get a blocker out. I'm basically just set up, and then I just pass it back to him. His go, he just uses his Dawn, gets, of course, the Magellan out, so I lose some stuff, which is fine. Swings in. I think I actually guard this, which is very interesting. I don't know why I chose to do that when I had the blocker on the board, but you know what? We'll roll with this. Like, here I am thinking what to do. I had a really good hand here. This hand's actually pretty fire. I have a lot of setup. I can go from green to red. It gets shambles. I have all these awesome one costs. Like we're sitting really well. We are in a really good spot. So I'm thinking what the shambles here because everything's just so good. I choose to just reset the Zoro, just swing. And then I thought through if I want to be aggressive or not. I chose to not swing with the Zoro again and just leave it on the board. And just kind of have a really strong board presence instead. So he whips out this card, which I haven't seen yet, which just straight up nukes cards. So he just nuked like the Zoro I had on the board. If I knew that, I probably would have swung with it. But so basically I lost the 2 cards I could have used. I guard a little bit here, and basically it's back to my turn. And now we're just gonna go into the, I'm probably gonna go the Brook play here, but I think instead I'm just gonna swing first and try to just poke out as much shield as possible. So here I go, and then now I'm setting up thinking how to shambles here. I realized that I have to open Dawn here, so I did some searching. I call it the Bonnie here to then probably search again, hoping maybe to find a Law here. And I'm just thinking through like what the best course of action here. So I find another Luffy, and so it's just fine because we kind of need it. So then I'm gonna shambles here, probably pick up the Bonnie and go into Luffy, because since I have the second copy anyway, I don't actually care about losing it here. So we're gonna go in. He has no blockers, by the way, so he has to basically guard everything here or take it, and then I just keep applying pressure here, just swing with everything. I have a really good hand for another setup turn, so in case I start losing all my boys, it's okay because I'll just get all my boys back. That was basically my thought process. So I was like, we'll be okay, it'll be a great time. I am keeping in the back of my mind that like big board wipe guy, since he used them twice in like before game 1 and game 2, so my brain is thinking like, all right, I gotta be cautious of that. I think I looked through his drop a little bit here just to see what he has going on. I do notice he's at 1 life and I'm at 3, so we're actually in a really good spot here. He has no blockers. This might actually, like, I don't think I realized just how much in favor like the game was towards me when I was playing. I was like kind of like under pressure a little bit, really scared that like full retire. I realized I stopped caring about the retire, and I was just like, if he's gonna do it, he's just gonna do it. I just have to accept it. He does finally get a blocker though, so our hand's looking pretty healthy here. We can go into a double Brooks here. I think I first decided to just swing in and just try. He only has 4 cards in hand. He does have 2 open Dawn, so we're very aware that he's probably has the event card ready for me. So I didn't want to call it a board too quickly, but I didn't really have much of a choice. I kind of had to start calling a board and just kind of going in. I also have the ability to just bounce cards back, so whatever he minuses I can kind of deal with a little bit better. So here I choose to apply a little bit more pressure. I don't know why I deployed that and then did the Dawns like that. Don't ask me why I did that. But I guess I was just thinking what I could find first before I choose to attack. But it wasn't really the smartest course of action. That was definitely I could have approached that a little bit smarter. But it's okay. No matter what he chooses to use, like I'm okay. So here he is doing block. And then I go back into shambles, basically pick up a color, go into another color. I think here the best course of action is probably going to pick up a red, go into Law, use Law's ability, go to another color. At least from my theory, that at least from my thoughts, that seems to be the best course of action. So I think that's exactly what I do. I keep the restand in my hand for basically next turn. This turn I wanted to just maybe poke out like just a little bit more search here, just get whatever I need. I reset up and then just pass it back to him. I'm at 3 life. I'm sitting pretty well. I have a blocker. That blocker is probably going to go, to be honest with you. I don't expect the Law to stay there, but I have 3 life. Like the worst that can happen is that he basically puts me to 0 here, but there's no way he can kill me. But he does have 3 big bodies. The Law of course does go away, but 1 life and I have 3 life, and he just got rid of like all his Dawn. So basically we're looking pretty good. But now he of course tries to, you know, deal with my board a little bit here, try to trade, which is fine. I was a little scared here at first. I was thinking like, maybe he has like some like weird thing up his sleeve. So I think I decided to I think at one point I was like, do I block or not? And I think I just decided to eat everything. I was just like, you know what, screw it. We're just gonna take all of it. And that's exactly what I do. I'm just gonna take it all, go to 0, and then just kill him next turn. And that was the approach. I think I read his leader just to be sure that I can go for game. game here. And I basically just thinking, okay, I got Luffy, he has no blockers again, I think we can just go for game here. And that's exactly what we do. We deploy the Nami here to just apply a little bit more pressure with our Dons, and we just try to swing here and basically try to finish the game here. And then he just concedes, and that's the end. That's the end of that game. So I want to basically just show you guys that. I don't know if my commentary was like good, or if the video was too fast or whatnot, but I hope you guys enjoy that. It's different. It's just something different to do. It's 3 really awesome games. I thought it was really interesting to see kind of the transition between both of us as players trying to deal with our own like decks and stuff like that. I thought that was just kind of cool. I'm familiar with like Kaido. I don't play it that often. I actually recently played locals where I played someone who was also playing Kaido. Still, I'm not as familiar with that matchup because a lot of people actually don't play that deck too often. I'm like used to seeing like, you know, the Rebekahs and the Queens and the Laws and the Zoros, but seeing Kaido was a little different. So that's actually why I wanted to show y'all kind of how that game played out. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed some very mediocre Law gameplay, or maybe you guys liked my Law gameplay. Maybe you think I played it pretty well. I don't know. I'm still learning sort of the tempo between like from game to game, kind of how to tempo out better, as Law does require a lot of templating, a lot of setup. You know, you always want a full board, and you know, getting bored with like that is pretty scary. I'm like, oh, when I first got bored, I just sat there like, what do I do now? Do I just die? If you guys like that kind of stuff, please subscribe, comment, all that wonderful stuff. If you want to see more stuff like this, please feel free to let me know below what you want to see. I mainly only play Law and Zoro right now. I don't really know any other decks too well, but I can keep showcasing these gameplays because I actually really like Law. I'm big into bouncing and drop zone decks. Oh yeah, also the list I used for these games in particular, it's a little weird and definitely not traditional, but I've actually been experimenting with a bunch of different ratios. I've been really enjoying this variation of it, as the green Brooks actually carries a lot, and space is kind of tight right now. I'm trying to build into a bunch of different decks, but I kind of really like it. I know it's eventless, but I've actually been kind of enjoying it eventless. I didn't really miss the Radical Beam or the Guard Point in any of the games I played today, because this was just a showcase of the Kaido games I actually played quite a bit today, just to kind of feel it out. So yeah, peace out guys, that's Vidania. I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.